The cat command is one of the most used commands in Linux. Its primary purpose is to concatenate or link the content of different files. Let's look at the man page for the command to get an idea of how it can be used. First, let's look at usage. We start with the cat command itself. We can then add some options if needed. Lastly, we can add some files. Note that both the options and the files are optional, as denoted by the square brackets. While we will primarily specify files, we don't have to. Let's try using it to get a sense of how it works. As you can see, we have a number of files in our current directory. In the simple case, the cat command will take the contents of a file and output them to the console. Here, we can see the contents of file1.txt. We can see the contents of file3.txt using this command. Since the purpose is to concatenate files, let's try it by specifying both files on the command line. Notice that the contents of both files were printed in the terminal. If we change the order of the files, the output changes to match. Notice that the same text is displayed, but the order has changed. If we go back to the man page, we see the options that are available to us. For the sake of brevity, we will only focus on two, -B and -N. -B numbers the non-empty output lines, and -N numbers all output lines. While you may not use these all the time, they should give you an idea as to how you can customize the output of cat to suit your needs. If we go back to our previous command and add the -B option, we see that all the lines, except for the blank lines in file3.txt, are numbered. If we want those lines to be numbered, then we can use the -N option. Remember that these options just affect the output. They do not modify the files themselves. While you may not use these options much, it's good to know that they are there. When we looked at the man page, we saw that the file is an optional argument. If we call cat without a file name, it just echoes whatever we type. This may not seem useful right now, but in just a minute we will see where this can be beneficial. To exit out of the cat command, use Ctrl-D. You may recall from a previous video that we discussed the more and less commands. Both of these commands offer more functionality than cat for just looking at the contents of a file. So when would you want to use the cat command? Well, the real benefit of the cat command is when you combine it with redirection of input and output. While we will cover this topic more in a later video, let's look at a simple example so you get the idea. Here, we are going to reuse a previous command that combined the content of file 3 and file 1. However, we are going to add a redirection operator and the name of a new file, combined.txt. When we execute this command, the contents of the files will be sent to the new file. We can verify this by using the cat command. You can also use cat and redirection without specifying an input file. As I said, input and output redirection will be discussed in more depth in a later video, but this gives you an idea of how the cat command can be useful.